welcome to the Lawn Care Grow Show. My name is Mark Lamberth. I'm your host. Today I'm speaking with Andrew Winkler at Lawn Boy Landscape Contracting and Construction in Philadelphia. Andrew, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So it's been fun talking here before the show, as I always really enjoy that time. But you've just got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about here. I'd love to start by hearing what services you provide for your customers in Philadelphia.
So, it started off really as a grass cutting business, but we kind of have moved away from that. At this point now, it's more so landscape construction-esque, trying to, do kind of full backyard remodels. Like, I want a patio here, I want this here, I want sod here, I want this kitchen here. You know what I mean? Sort of like higher level projects. And really the reason for this fundamental shift in business practice and execution is the lawn market now, if you're going to pay 3 guys or 2 guys to sit in a truck all day, the truck is insured. You know what I mean? You have overhead, you have gas, you have all this equipment, trailers, you have all these equipment things that take up gas. You know what I mean? Because you're never using electric tools really if you're a large scale enough. And there are a lot of people in this region of where I am where they can always get a guy to do it for cheaper. And that race to the bottom kind of mindset and just kind of way that people go about charging people is never going to be something that makes you a bunch of money, in my opinion, unless you're sort of grandfathered into it, unless you kind of had all your equipment already pre the last 5 years of inflation, unless you have like hundreds of lawns all on the same block where you can have 3 people there for an hour and get like 6 of them done. There's a way to profit off of it, but I didn't think that based on the way that the market was currently structured in this region and, the demand for all the other things that are so hard to find expertise to execute on, that's really why I decided to make the transition out of lawns. So we are completely out of lawns, unless it's commercial, of course. But, we are the lawn boys that don't do lawns.
Hilarious, man. Really very interesting. How many guys do you have on your team?
We have 8 employees right now.
8 employees. Okay. And remind me here, Andrew, how long you've been in business?
So this is our 4th year in business. I officially got the operating agreement and the EIN May 19th, 2023. But I really started like in March, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe in April, like beginning of April.
Man, that's excellent growth. Okay, very interesting. So, you started with lawn care, lawn maintenance, lawn mowing, but you've moved completely out of that at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So, we're the Lawn Care Grow Show, interviewing a lot of lawn care companies, definitely talking with guys that are, one guy in a truck, if that, right? All the way up to guys up to, 8, 10, 15 employees. A lot of people love the maintenance side of it because of that kind of recurring income. How have you dealt with not having that recurring? That's how you built the business, that's how you started,
Great
right?
Great question.
Yeah. How have you kind of filled in that gap?
So really what it's all about is marketing and sales. You know what I mean? If people don't know that you exist, how do you expect them to hear about you, let alone call you? And so really what it's all about is keeping the sales pipeline full, trying to really have a nice website, trying to really clearly demonstrate what you do, how you do it, how good you are at doing it. We have all 5-star reviews on Google, 58 5-star reviews. You have to be neurotic, like fucking neurotic about 5-star reviews. And you really just need to operate in the mindset of like you want to close between 5 to 7 out of every 10 jobs, because if you're closing like 3 out of every 10 jobs, you're really expensive. But if you have enough volume of estimates that you're sending out, then you can live on 30%. But if you're over 7 out of 10 every job's closed, you're too cheap. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be closing with everyone, because then that means you're just not operating and charging a fair market rate. or at least an average
100%.
market rate for that matter.
Uh-huh.
So, we like to just constantly have sales requests coming in. I probably get like 4 or 5 phone calls a day, 2 to 3 inquiries on our website. So really it's all about really being fast with getting out to go look at the property, being fast to give the estimate, being fast to get people on the schedule, get the down payment, sign the contract. You know what I mean? Like it's all about just trying to keep yourself as far booked out as possible. And then once you have enough of a built up customer base, I mean, stuff grows back every year. So there's your recurring revenue right there for just hedge trimming and all that, general landscaping maintenance.
Hmm.
So really, it's all about trying to find new customers to do projects for at all times and then doing a great job executing on it properly and having the door open to go back there at any time and being good with communicating with everyone as well.
Wow. Okay. Got it. Interesting. Is is route density as important to you in your business model
Say that one
working
more
with
time.
route density,
Oh, okay.
right? Of
Yep.
lawn maintenance crews talk about this a lot of kind of route density, how important it is to have all of your accounts really clustered together
Mhm.
so that you not don't have that kind of windshield time. But if you have, working, doing mainly project work, maybe that's not as important. And is that something
No.
you guys focus on?
But no, not at all. I mean, it depends on like how big the project is. Like, I'm not going to go, 45 minutes away to do like, a $500 landscaping job. I'm going to go 45 minutes away to do like a 3-day project where I can just tell my employees, like, this is the address that you have to report to in the morning. You know what I mean? If they have our trucks or if they want to get there with their own cars, some guys do both. So, if people are going to be there all day, you know what I mean? The drive time becomes less of an obstacle because it's not taking time away from other things that are going on. If the
Hmm.
sole focus of the day is being at one place, then I can find, a material distributor around that place and have materials delivered there. All it's just a different, entirely different way of doing things.
Amazing. Do you find that some areas of the kind of landscaping and hardscaping and lawn maintenance that there's some kind of micro areas that tend to be more profitable than others, or that your team, and not even necessarily asking for specific details about what these even are, but I mean, are there areas in the business that are more profitable than other ones? Types of jobs that are more profitable, and or that your crew really like to do?
So yes to everything. Obviously all the things in those categories you just mentioned are going to be different. For example, like the most profitable thing I would say is probably any time where we have to bring in a bunch of stone and put a bunch of stone somewhere. So like let's say someone wanted to, put in a shed foundation, but they didn't want to pour concrete because that's expensive. Because so sometimes people are asking for shed foundations and it's like, that's fucking easy for us that we can come in and bang that out in no time at all. But if someone was going to do that themselves, it would take them probably 10 times the amount of time,
Uh-huh.
right? Because we are fast, we're efficient. We have a trailer, we can pull up with the stone, we can dump the stone, we can dig out all the dirt, put it in the trailer, and then, someone can bring the dirt away, and then the other guys can get to putting the stone in. We have our gas tamper that we own, just tamp the stone down, and then boom, we're done. So
Hmm.
it's like, you know, the more equipment you acquire, the more profitable each job should be, right? That you're using that piece of equipment for. And, the way to kind of gauge that, in my opinion, is really it's just you have to have a feel for it. In the beginning of the season this year, I rented the gas tamper from the place where I used to rent it from like 3 days in a row, and it was like $450. You know what I mean? And it was what, like 2 bands to buy a new one. And so I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, so this is the first 3 days of the season. I'm getting away from lawns. I have to do these kinds of projects all year to make, to eat. Why do I not own one of these? You know what I mean? I'm just going to be burning money all summer if I have to rent it every single time I need it. So I bought
Uh-huh.
one, and then my employees just love it because before, they would really only get it if they absolutely needed it. And now they're just like, we can use it whenever we want, even if it's for 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Wow, no kidding.
So, it's that kind of thing. So, long story short, to answer your question, stuff like that is the most profitable. I would say my employees like the jobs the most that aren't in the heat, 95 degrees in the middle of the sun. So if it's in the spring, if it's in the fall, they like it no matter what it is. If it's hot, then it's brutal no matter what.
Gotcha.
But actually it's sod. They love doing sod.
Got sod. Okay. Love it. Fantastic. Very helpful, man. Can I ask you with the business, a landscaping, hardscaping business with 8 employees, how much time do you spend every week? I don't know, kind of behind a computer doing administrative stuff, especially related to kind of running the company, not so much
Right.
even exact bid work or something, but more like the kind of admin type stuff. I mean, is it half hour? Is it multiple hour? Where are we at
So
with that?
it's interesting. If you think of computer in the context of, the original desktop or laptop, you also kind of have to factor in the phone because the phone is also a computer. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
like sitting down at the computer, it's in the morning, before I have to go out and drive around, and then it's when I get home until I go to sleep, pretty much. Gym, dinner, obviously. I'm not sitting at the desk, but as far as on the phone, talking to customers, talking to my employees, I mean, it's 24/7, man. It's like
yeah.
there are no breaks because you take some time off, there's thousands of dollars walking right out the door down the street to someone else's business.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm kidding, you
Interesting.
know what I mean? It's funny, but it's true.
No, I completely believe it. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it's interesting. Well, amazing. Well, Andrew, what does the future look like for you guys? I mean, you've had an amazing growth story so far. I mean, you're a larger landscaper than most. I mean, certainly the most of the folks we talk to here on the show. I mean, here in the next few years, you guys looking to grow the business, or are you guys kind of at a level place where you're at with the team that you have?
So my focus entirely right now is acquiring A players. You know what I mean?
Huh.
There's
Okay.
nothing that matters more to me than acquiring absolute beasts, people who see the vision, care, want to dominate, want to follow, an absolute G who's done it, who's proven it, who's built something, who's ready to charge further. You know, I think the problem with scaling is it's it takes so long to find good people. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
hmm.
And it takes one bad thing to lose them. You know what I mean? So you have to be good to good people, and you have to search for good people. But really, I want to obviously build as big of a company as I possibly can, but you can't build a good army without good soldiers. So you really need to just carefully curate the people that you allow in. You bring a few people in at a time, you know what I mean? You create a culture of really working hard and positivity and, getting things done. And so I think really right now I'm trying to set systems in place to make things run as smoothly as possible. Like the entire sales cycle needs to be mapped out. The entire process of execution on jobs needs to be mapped out because once you have a really, really, really solid foundation when it comes to culture and books and execution and reputation and quality, then it's really a lot easier to build that giant pyramid. But if you want to go high, if you want a tall pyramid, the foundation has to be just as big.
Man, that is
That's my
amazing
opinion.
advice. Amazing advice. Guys, if you're listening to this, go back and listen to this interview again here with Andrew. Just a lot of gems in here. I mean, talking about just the business model itself and some, there may be some threats, just with inflation and things with the lawn care model itself. We talked to a lot of companies that kind of move up into landscaping and hardscaping. Um, and then just some great kind of metrics about close rate and these different things. But when asked about what the plan is for the future, acquiring A players is Andrew's answer to that. That's an amazing answer, man. I love that.
Thank you. Well,
Um,
like it's look, it comes from a lot of times, trying to go too far too fast and trying to do things too fast. And it's always just mentally anguishing when like you have to clean up your mess that you made just by being short-sighted in the way that things actually work in the business world. For every level you want to go up in the business world, like basically the world is gonna like and God is gonna ask you like, do you really want this? Like, and he's gonna serve you a shit sandwich and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But if you have great people behind you, then it's a lot easier to like deal with those kinds of things versus having people who are kind of like, you know, impartial or, just kind of indifferent to the way things go as long as they get a paycheck.
Hmm. Amazing. Man, what a great interview and just great talking with you, Andrew. It's a great conversation. If folks are in the Philadelphia area and looking for a great landscape contracting or hardscape, construction company to work with, what are some of the best ways to get in touch with you guys?
So we have Instagram. Obviously, our Instagram is actually our parent comp or S corp name. It's called AGW General Contracting. You can reach out to me directly on Instagram, Drew Winkler, one word, no spaces or anything. Our website, lawnboylandscapes.com. You can look us up on Google. You know, just let Lawn Boy, type in Lawn Boy Philadelphia, and it'll pop right up.
Perfect. Great. Well, Andrew, thanks so much for coming on the show today and sharing all your wisdom, man. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.